9 signs you're experiencing of spiritual death and soul rebirth. Spiritual death is not death in terms of physicality, but the death of false identifications we have with our ego, mind, and body. Spiritual awakening or enlightenment entails being awake to our true nature. It is no walk in the park, because to be aware of our true nature means we need to let go of all the false identifications and limiting beliefs we have. This process in the spiritual late journey is referred to as dark night, or soul, or spiritual death. If you are going through the dark night of the soul right now, hang in there. Soon you will realize your infinite nature and the cosmic miracle that you are. The phoenix must burn to emerge. Janet Fitz. I have compiled a list of 9 signs that you are going through spiritual death and rebirth. As one, you are worn out all the time. You are constantly exhausted, and nothing can make you wake up or feel better in any way. This fatigue isn't connected to anything you can think of. You just feel mentally, emotionally, and physically drained. As to you don't feel accepted anywhere you go. Everywhere you go, you have this uncomfortable sense like you don't belong there. It feels like you don't fit, and that you aren't meant to be there. This awkward feeling sometimes forces you to even leave social settings because you just felt so out of place there. As 3, you feel like you're helpless. You feel like you're stuck in a rut, and you could never change your life. You don't feel like you have control over even the smallest parts of your life. You may feel powerless, and that feeling can be deeply frustrating to you. This helpless feeling is a sign that you're ready for a change. As 4, you feel like your life doesn't have meaning. You feel as though you're just going through life, and you're not accomplishing anything important. You want your life to have meaning. Wake up every day wishing that your life had more an impact upon the world, and you wish you were doing something more important. You're interesting. You're deeply unsatisfied with your current calling in life, and you are looking for a new purpose in life. As 5, you keep doubting yourself and having second thoughts. It's not that you don't trust your gut. This time your gut is telling you that what you're doing isn't what you want. You keep doubting yourself and having second thoughts about what you're doing because you're unsure whether you're on the right overall path in life. You will continue to doubt yourself until it chips away at your soul to the point where it dies and is reborn again. At 6, you feel like you're stretched too thin. You have too much stuff going on at once right now. Normally, it wouldn't bother you to have a full workload, but when you're experiencing spiritual death, the multiple directions with thoughts are pulling you and stretch you way too thin. You won't be fully committed to one thing because of the doubt you're having in your current life path. And you aren't fully committed to something, you tend to take on lots of extra things that distract you, and you end up having too much stuff on your plate. This is part of the death and rebirth function. When you have too much on your plate, you have to cut loose what you don't want. Such is your spiritual rebirth. At 7, you feel like you aren't living up to your full potential. Our soul is the biggest victim when it comes to self-criticism. When you criticize yourself, you chip away at your soul. When we aren't on the right path and we are headed towards a spiritual rebirth, we will criticize ourselves even more. We know that we aren't living up to our potential when we do this, and this is part of what drives us to remake ourselves spiritually. When we set ourselves on the right path, we can begin to be reborn, and we can reach our true potential. At 8, you feel like you're in a vicious cycle. Sometimes we can feel like we're stuck in a permanent rut. This is especially true when we aren't doing what we really want to be doing in life. When something is slowly chipping away at our soul and making us go through a spiritual rebirth, The dying process can feel repetitive and terrible. In order for us to realize we need to change our ways, we have to be shown repeatedly that we aren't following the right path. The more stubborn we are, the longer it takes, and sometimes it can feel like we'll be stuck feeling that way forever. Thankfully though, when you finally go through a spiritual rebirth, you will feel free from this cycle. Past 9, you feel empty inside. It almost feels like there is a piece of you missing. Sometimes you might feel like there's a big hole where your heart or your stomach should be. This feeling is a physical manifestation of much of the stress you've been dealing with. Whether the stress is caused simply from you being down the wrong path, or from life events that have helped chip away at your soul over the years,